Welcome to the Sleazy Podcast, the podcast about anything and everything, but mostly TV and movies. And now it's time to get sleazy.
All right, welcome back to the world-renowned Sleazy Podcast. This is episode 194, and it's week 2 of spooky season, too. Didn't know if you knew that. I mean, we all know it, but
we know.
Didn't know, people listening know that. So I'm joined by Mr. PBS.
I need that sound clip of that little girl, like, it's always Halloween in my soul. Bats, freaking bats.
And the legend, Robzilla. Let me adjust the microphone with my T-Rex arms. Remember, talk
Yes.
into the microphone.
Yes, I will.
Rob will be like, and so
It's like, Rob, you're
My
not
bad.
talking to me, you're talking to them.
yeah, and then he's always like, or he'll have his nose on it, like.
Can I ask you guys a slightly off-topic question here before we really get into it?
Yeah, go for it.
I want to ask, like, is social media dead? But is Facebook dead? Because yesterday there was a Cleveland Guardians game to keep them in the playoffs that they won. And there was a big OSU night game against Oregon that they ended up losing that was back and forth most of the game. And I remember like 5 or 10 years ago, people would have been posting like every play on Facebook. And I don't have like a
live commenting on it.
Yeah. I don't even know what you call it on Facebook, but like live tweeting basically. Like I don't have like 1,000 friends or anything. And most of them aren't even really into sports, but there would always be people like doing live posting the Buckeyes game and stuff.
I'm 100% guilty of that sometimes.
And
not
like
so much nowadays. But.
Oh, that's the thing. Like nobody really is.
Yeah.
And even if they are, the algorithm doesn't show it to you till like 3 days later anyway. I'm just curious, like what happened to Facebook? Is it dying? Is it turning into the boomer platform? Or I don't know.
I think I don't think Facebook's doing themselves any favors. And from what it sounds like, Mark Zuckerberg just doesn't care about Facebook.
Right? Like, did the pandemic burn people out? Did politics burn people out? It's just,
probably.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, you post something, and I believe people just don't see what people are posting. My feed is filled with all kinds of stuff, and I'll have like stuff you should follow, stuff like that showing up. Like I don't follow that. Why is it in my feed? I don't want to see it
multiple times.
Yeah. And exactly. It's not just one thing popping up. It's like several things from that.
It's like I don't want to see this, and all of a sudden it pops right back up. Like I just removed you.
Right. Why. I don't know, man. Something's up with Facebook, and you hear like Mark Zuckerberg is building, however millions of dollars worth of underground bunkers in Hawaii or whatever, and funding satellites, research and stuff like that for deep space with the James Webb and stuff. I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like they're awfully trying to keep people on Facebook.
But even Twitter is kind of the same since Elon took over. I was never really on Instagram all that much, but even that seems kind of hard to follow people sometimes. And it's basically just another Facebook platform.
Yeah, well, the thing with X, and Twitter in general, whatever you want to call it nowadays, you've always had the opportunity to make lists and curate your own feed, whereas there's nothing really. I mean, you can do the following button on, but it still doesn't show up.
Yeah,
shit doesn't show up.
Yeah, Twitter does have the list at least, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, and like when I watch Jags games, like I did this morning, and it was terrible, and it was a bitch session on X with everybody, but I just go to the list that I've curated, and I just follow the people that I want to hear. And you
sports people or whatever.
Yeah, and you do see like a lot of live tweeting during the games and stuff like that. And I mean, I have a list for like UFO stuff and just different things that I want to see. And then I have my favorites on the actual Sleazy Podcast account. But I don't know. Something's off with social media.
I was just kind of curious. I think about it sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially during like an event like a Buckeyes game where people still watch a ton of it.
I saw a bunch of stuff this morning after the game was over.
Yeah, I saw like reactions, and
it's terrible. I mean, Facebook needs to do a better job, and I don't think they care. I think they have their cash cow because people can share their photos and store their photos, and they can spy on people.
Yeah.
So I mean, people are on there. You just don't see it.
Yeah,
Mark,
maybe, I
Would
don't
be
know.
my explanation.
What's the one they bought, the WhatsApp or whatever? I don't know how people use WhatsApp or not.
Yeah,
I've never really used that one.
where you can chat in secrecy.
Yeah, I think
on
that
secure
one's
connections.
I hear that people use that more outside of America, really, than in America.
Terrorists. Just say
There
it.
you go.
I mean, just people.
Terrorists use WhatsApp.
Anyway, I was just curious. It just kind of struck me last night.
Yeah, I'm with you there. 'Cause I'm some people that I really would love to see what their what they've been up to. I never see in my feed, so I'll have to go look for them.
Yeah.
Facebook is
I think they burnt people out too. That's
Yeah.
well, and it doesn't help that all the stuff coming out about the government trying to encourage them to suppress information and stuff like that. And even though technically it's not illegal or anything like of that nature, but I think a lot of you said boomer thing. I think a lot of the boomers are turned off from social media in general because of that, but they still go and find their own to encourage their beliefs. They're still looking for that stuff. But yeah, I think a lot of people are, there's one crowd that's going to X, and then there's one crowd that's going to whatever, Facebook. And then you kind of have crowds that migrate to TikTok, which, the clock is ticking on TikTok.
Yeah,
Right
and
now.
TikTok's still like the only one I think that has like a decent algorithm and stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
who knows how long that'll last before somebody screws it up.
Right.
Well, at least if you post something, 200 people are going to see it on
Mhm.
TikTok, whereas no one's seen it on X or Facebook.
Right.
But that being said, Twitter has always been kind of like a cocktail bar
Mhm,
where you have to engage with other people for your stuff to be seen.
There was a long time there where Twitter was kind of the one I'd go to the most, just because of people I was
Yeah.
following and stuff. And I've always been that way because I keep Facebook mostly for family and friends that I know.
Yeah.
And Twitter was the one where I follow people who I didn't know.
I still think Facebook is the best, like, engineered as far as like your availability of like your photos,
Just having everything there.
everything in one. It's the more smoother platform. X is
Yeah.
it's pretty straightforward. It is what it is. But yeah, I don't know. I'm with you that something weird is happening.
Mm.
So
Like I said, I think between people getting burnt out and maybe like you said, I think they maybe just don't care as much anymore. They got their demographic and they're fine with them being on there.
yeah. So here's what we have for you in today's show. We have a spooky news article we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about the new Netflix movie, It's What's Inside. Then we're going to move on to top 15 horror movies of the 1990s. We did the 2000s last week, so we're going back in the past this time. And then to close the show out, we're going to do the 100 best horror movies by Variety.com. We're going to just talk about that, see if they've got it right or how much we disagree. I think there's some hateful thoughts on our part as far as it concerns with this list.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I watched Donnie Darko earlier this week. Did you guys see that?
Yeah. You rate it pretty high.
Well, I mean, I've always rated it high. It's a 5-star movie.
Well,
I mean,
right.
Come on. What do you think it is?
I haven't watched it in forever. I need to watch it again.
It's been a long time
It's
since
been-
I've
it's
watched
been a long
it.
time.
But when I watched it, I was like shouting off the lines and stuff. Like, tell me, how does one suck a fuck? Elizabeth. That is his sister's name, right?
Yeah.
But there's so many people in that.
Yep.
So many people in that movie. I was like, oh, I watched it and I went down memory lane and I was like, I used to watch this movie like 3 times a week. No, it changed my life.
I still remember I was going to school in Lancaster, and they got a Best Buy in Lancaster. And back when they still sold physical media, tells you how long ago it's getting to be now. The director's cut had come out on DVD, and I was like, they still had like the newspaper in the lounge area or whatever, and they had like the Best Buy flyer still. Like, oh, Donnie Darko director's cut. I wanted to check that out. So I went out after school and went to the Best Buy on the way home and bought it.
I think I had the director's cut on DVD years ago.
Mhm.
It's probably in a bin in the other room. Don't know where it is. I bought a Blu-ray of it the other couple, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years ago, but it was on Hulu. That's where I watched it.
Arrow put out a good set somewhere in the last couple of years of the theatrical cut and the director's cut, and I think they got a 4K out there too. But I think I might just have the Blu-ray, but it's good stuff.
Yeah. But anyways, you know, I posted that I was watching it, and of course, our good old friend Dave had to comment on it. And I love Dave, I really do, but I feel like Dave's argument here is it's not really. I'm like, did you pay attention to the movie? What are we doing here?
I am. So I don't know, minor spoiler alert, I guess, but Donnie Darko is kind of a time travel movie, kind of a multi-dimension movie.
Yeah, and I think that's where people in Dave's argument lane are getting confused.
It's a very Muzz physics argument. Like there's, I don't like saying turn your brain off when you watch a movie, but you know, it's just okay to look past a few something. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Well, it's funny. It got me on this path. Like I felt like sorry, I'm loading up TikTok here to kind of look for my favorite videos here. But so I felt like I was on the right path to explaining to him, you know, his argument or whatever, because he was using Back to the Future as his example of the time travel. And full disclosure here, we're going to spoil Donnie Darko before we get into this. So if you haven't seen Donnie Darko, just skip forward a couple minutes or something, and then backtrack is what you need. So
just go watch Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
It's on Hulu.
Okay. So a lot of people don't understand that there's a tangent universe that's been broken. Like there's an error in the, you know, time itself, and it creates this chaos of a universe. And what you were talking about with extra dimensions, a lot of people think that he's hallucinating or whatever when he's talking to Frank the bunny.
And he may be.
He may be.
That's the thing, is you don't know if it's meant to be a literal like that or not.
But when he's talking about, you know, the book with the science teacher, what is that guy's name? Noah
Wiley.
Noah Wiley. He was great.
Oh yeah.
Like, where's he been? But so when they're talking about that, they kind of explain to you, like, you kind of have a drift for like how the end of the movie is going to shake out in some shape or form. But people, they get so connected on the time travel movies that they love that they don't understand that it's sort of time travel, but there's other things in play, like extra dimensions and different things. So I found a really good video where this guy explains it as simply as it can be. And he explained it, and I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I just couldn't.
Right.
And I'll read his argument off, and I hope Dave's okay with this. I'm not like calling him out or anything. So Dave said, when he drove the station wagon off the cliff and went back in time, shouldn't he have kept falling back in time? Why was he transported to a different location, his bedroom?
Did he drive the car off at the end? I can't remember if he actually did drive the car off.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to remember now.
I thought the tangent universe just ends.
Yeah, that's
he's up on the cliff with Jenna Malone watching it.
Yeah,
but I don't recall him driving off into
because a lot of people, you know, the end of Donnie Darko is really left up to your interpretation,
right? Based
on the information they've given you. And in the director's cut, they give you a lot more information. Yeah. They give you a couple more pages out of the book that he's debating with his science teacher over.
There is a big argument amongst fans on which is the better version, the theatrical or the director's cut. And the director's cut gives you a little more than the theatrical, and some people don't like that. Personally, I saw the director's cut first, so the director's cut's just always kind of been my favorite.
Right. So my thing is, like, I don't think you ever see him drive the car off the cliff,
right?
You know, and they kind of lead you astray with, what do you need to travel through a wormhole, a spaceship, a metal container of some kind? And I think people get hung up on that too much. Whereas there's also talk about telekinesis, you know, just certain things that you got to really pay attention to catch these things. So okay. When he drove the station wagon off the cliff and went back in time, shouldn't he have kept falling back in time? Why was he transported to a different location in his bedroom? When the jet engine fell off the aircraft, it went back in time and kept falling straight onto his bedroom. See the problem? I find the movie completely unwatchable because of this. Either his car should have kept falling after going back in time, or the jet engine should have transported to a different location when it went back in time. Wildly inconsistent. And I believe he posted a video of Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah.
And like, totally different movie. Back to the Future doesn't really do time travel great, but it's a fun movie.
Yeah. And that's, we've talked about time travel movies before. You really shouldn't dig into most of them too much. It's not Primer here. Okay. It's
yeah. And I said, yeah, it's very much left for you to interpret. Does he somehow consciously share what's happened in the tangent universe? And I kind of forgot to put to himself in there. And doesn't ever really make it out of the wormhole, or does he make it out, tell Donnie number 2 what's happened, and then proceed to destroy the car with himself and his dead girlfriend inside, also closing the tangent universe? Or in your thought process, is it just a giant plot hole? I don't think it's a giant plot hole, but it is what it is. And Dave proceeds to tell me that he didn't really understand what I was getting at with the tangent universe there. He was just like, and later on he says, he quotes Back to the Future. He says, but Doc, by the time I hit 88 miles per hour, I'm going to crash right into the drive-in movie screen. Marty, you're not going to go into the past. That drive-in theater hasn't been built yet. And then he pops out of the other side just to find an Indian troop riding straight at him. That makes sense. Donnie Darko doesn't. I beg to differ, sir. And I found this guy's response to trying to explain the ending, so-called. Let me put it up here on the screen.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm with you. Yeah, he never specifically like travels through time.
Yeah.
In whether it's your interpretation that it does or doesn't happen, I don't think he actually travels in time.
I feel like he kind of he uses the wormhole to kind of feed his consciousness back into
something like that.
Yeah,
because that's what happens to everybody else when they wake up.
Yeah,
they're all aware that it happened, but it didn't really happen.
People still have remnant thoughts and
like
feelings, from the tangent universe, and you see it. Like Patrick Swayze's crying because he's a chomo. He's a pedophile. The mom and the daughter kind of have this connection, and they just kind of wave at each other, even though her house is smashed with her son inside it. But here we go. So let's see what this guy can do here.
Donnie Darko is a complex, intricate story about primary universes, tangent universes, time travel, and of course the savior of the world itself. So trying to explain what Donnie Darko is actually about can be quite a daunting task. Luckily, we have a genius who has done just that, and you can tell he's a genius by his...
Doesn't this guy look like a genius?
If you were gonna typecast a genius in your movie, it would look like this guy. Probably
a mad genius.
He looks like he's running a crypto
scheme,
pyramid scheme.
That's crypto Jesse Eisenberg.
So this is Donnie Darko explained in a way that you can actually understand it. Check this shit out.
For the people that didn't pay attention to the movie.
Right.
So, Donnie Darko deals with tangent universes and paradoxes in time. So at times in this I'm going to sound like a madman. I'm sorry. It's just kind of the way this movie works. So at the beginning of the movie we're at the original, like a normal timeline. Timeline goes all the way from the beginning of the movie, the very first seconds of the movie, till when Frank says wake up. At that point an error in time occurs. The first thing that is not supposed to happen is Frank appears. It pulls Donnie out of his house. Frank pulls Donnie out of his house, and then the jet engine crashes. This creates a tangent universe off of the normal universe. This tangent universe is unstable. It should not exist. And the reason it exists is because of an error in time. The normal universe, we say, would have gone this way, but this universe broke off this way, and it's going to end in 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds.
Way to put that in that diagram, sir.
That's how long this universe has. The era in time occurs, Frank appears. Frank would not really, I mean, he does exist in the normal timeline, but he would not exist in the form that he does, except for in the tangent universe, as a sort of a mentor to Donnie, leading him to learn about time travel and portals and all that good stuff. And then the jet engine is pulled. Now, this is where you deal with paradox in time. The only way that jet engine can be pulled is from this point in the tangent universe, right at the very end. Almost at the very end. Donnie's mother and Donnie's sister are flying back from Sparkle Motion's trip and all that stuff. That's where the jet engine's pulled from. That's where you're dealing with paradoxes in time. The error in time occurs here and pulls the jet engine from an entirely different universe. This jet engine is pulled from a different universe into the normal universe, creating the normal universe to go down the timeline to where that was pulled from. The most confusing part for people is the ending. Gretchen's dead. Spoiler alert. Gretchen dies. The universe is becoming unstable. It's about to collapse. There's a tornado in the sky. Donnie then comes to realize that he can travel back in time. All you need is a metal craft of any kind, as his teacher says. So Donnie knows he can travel back in time, and he has to travel back in time or else he's going to die. Everything ends here in this universe. Everything. That's it. This jet engine still has to be pulled at 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and let's say 11 seconds. That's when that jet engine is pulled, and it's pulled all the way to back here. Donnie goes with it, all the way back through time. That's why that whole rewind sequence is going back in time with the jet engine. That's why you see the jet engine going down the tunnel, the portal. You get it? That's Donnie. You can see Donnie. So Donnie, along with the jet engine, they go all the way back 28 days, 6.
Donnie, along with the jet engine. I just love how this guy explains this.
Hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds. Donnie has to die. That's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. It's like, why did Donnie have to die? He could have just fixed everything. No, he couldn't have. The universe was going to end in 20 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds. Donnie lived because of the error in time, and the only way the error in time can be stopped, the only way he can stop going down this timeline is by dying. Donnie has become a martyr, so everything happens normally. And he does. Donnie kills himself. The jet engine crashes through his house. The question still remains where it comes from. They'll never figure that out, but the universe will stay intact. So, his mom would not go on the trip. His sister might even go on the trip. Her brother just died. Who knows what will happen? But the jet engine won't be pulled out the plane, even if they do go. The jet engine won't be pulled out the plane because it was pulled out the plane from the tangent universe, not from the regular universe. It won't happen. The plane will safely land. And Donnie's sister, if she's on the plane, Donnie's mother, if she's on the plane, will survive. And Gretchen will live. Gretchen will be fine. She won't be hit by a car. All will be right in the world, kind of. At least the universe won't end. Gretchen will live. That's the end of it.
And that's Dave's problem right there.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand it. It is the same engine, but it's not the same engine.
Right. Like when that tangent universe ends, it disappears.
Right.
Like there's nothing. And then the real universe itself is left. Now, I still understand his argument. Well, how does Donnie get back there? And we just have to assume that Donnie has some kind of powers or whatever. I mean, the guy's talking to interdimensional beings, for God's sakes.
I thought the idea in there, it's been a few years since I've watched it. I do need to rewatch it. That again, it's not him time traveling, it's his consciousness that goes back.
And I think, there's so much talk about wormholes and stuff like that people get hung up on the time travel thing. Like, we're not exactly dealing with.
This ain't Interstellar.
Yes. And we're not dealing with a time machine per se. So we have to not assume the regular rules of time travel is involved here, because we're dealing with a parallel universe that should not exist.
Any thoughts, Rob?
I have to watch it.
And the guy forgot to say, and Frank doesn't get shot in the eye.
Right. All right. This has been the Donnie Darko podcast. Join us next time. Thanks.
I just had to get that off my chest. It's been bugging me for like 3 days now.
I have had a big crush on Jenna Malone ever since the movie came out. So
she was gorgeous, man. How heartbroken were you when what's her face gets ran over?
Yeah. It's terrible.
It's still, when Gretchen gets ran over by Frank, like, I haven't watched that movie in a good 15 years, and I was like, like it was that clip from The Simpsons. Like,
Slow it down and watch. You can see the moment his heart breaks.
Yes, because you're rooting for Donnie. Like, it was a nice little relationship they had there, even though he sneaks out of the movies to burn some houses down. But yeah, so all right, I guess it's time to move to the spooky news we have here. Okay, so this was actually submitted from a listener, Lauren. She every once in a while sends crazy news articles. So shout out to Lauren for finding this. Kentucky woman, if we can get this, I hate all these websites, all the pop-ups and stuff. Kentucky woman arrested after mother's severed body found cooked inside kitchen. Did you have that on your bingo card for spooky season?
I did not. That was not on my list.
A pot with cooked human body parts was found still warm to the touch inside the kitchen, Kentucky police say. Oh, man, she looks crazy, doesn't she?
Kind of mugshot that makes you think meth is going to be involved.
Yeah.
It's a driving factor in the murder.
I mean, it has to be, right? For somebody to do some shit like
we
this.
Need to make like a Donnie Darko movie, but it's about meth.
Right.
Did he travel on time? No, he traveled on meth.
Listen, I just pitched this idea to our buddy Matt. I said, we need to make like a Final Destination type movie. Like, but it's not, necessarily like visions like randomly happening to people, but the visions of the future happen when you smoke a certain strain of marijuana.
Oh, yeah.
It's brilliant, right?
It is.
I don't think anybody's made anything like that. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I want a Final Destination movie where they're all trying to like kill themselves.
Yeah.
like it's like, oh, it's not your turn to die. So I'm going to go like jump off a building and not die or something.
And death keeps preventing it.
Right. And like death, instead of death making elaborate traps to kill them, he has to make elaborate traps to save them because it's not their time yet.
We should pitch that to the Wayne brothers.
Yeah.
See if they'll make it like a spoof of it.
Pitch it to Netflix. They'll be like, okay, that's fine.
All right. So Mount Olivet, Kentucky. Did I say that right?
I think so. They probably in Kentucky, they probably say Mount Olivet.
Yeah, Olivet. Stupid Northerners can't say our name.
We'll say Olivet.
A woman has been arrested after police found her mother's dismembered body cooking inside a kitchen pot. Wonder what kind of pot was it? Like just a giant one? I mean, it's got to be with their body parts, right?
It's got to be the giant meth ones.
Yeah. Kentucky State Police said a man called police on Wednesday after discovering a gruesome scene at home on Briarly Ridge Road in Robertson County near Mount Olivet. Okay. The man said he and another person were hired by the homeowner, Trudy Fields, to do work on a building on the property. When no one answered the door, he began looking around and found a pile of hair near the house and bloodstained mattresses on the back porch. Usually that's a good sign that something shady's going on.
Mm-hmm.
There were also drag marks leading out behind the house where he found what he believed to be Trudy's dismembered body.
Jesus.
Wow. Was Art the Clown at this house? I mean, what's going on here?
Where's Robert Kennedy? Jesus Christ.
What about all that blood?
We need to see if we can find a clip of him cussing and just have it on the soundboard.
Amazing.
Jesus Christ. I haven't seen our buddy on TikTok here lately.
Oh, yeah.
He's like out of my feed. Like it's over with for him now. When Kentucky State Police arrived, they noted her arms, legs, and head had been removed. Whoa, holy shit. There was another blood-soaked mattress folded in half next to the body, which contained multiple severed body parts and organs. Look at this crazy bitch. Yeah, that just screams meth.
That's the look. I fucked up.
According to police, the man said he hadn't heard from Trudy since Tuesday night when she walked them to the property's gate and appeared to lock it. He said Trudy's daughter, Toralina May Fields, 32, with a name like that, it just sounds serial killerish, was also casting spells on them and was being confrontational that day. Holy shit. Why do you come back after witnessing something like that?
Burn the witch.
I'd be like, this job is canceled. I don't want to get any like thinner curses from your daughter.
Right.
Kentucky State Police obtained a search warrant to get inside the home where they found Toralina alone, not responding to police orders. Police deployed multiple canisters of tear gas and talked with her using a robot before being able to arrest her without incident. What, does this lady have a bomb vest on or something? I mean, what are we doing here, people?
Is this like the hillbilly Hurt Locker all of a sudden?
Yeah, go in and shoot her. She just murdered somebody.
Hillbilly Hurt Locker.
Instead of bombs, it's like mystical spells from the mountains in Kentucky.
A touch of witchcraft.
Toralina May Fields has been charged with obstructing governmental operations, tampering. Oh, wait, I skipped a scene here. Troopers noted that she appeared to have blood on her face, hands, and clothing. Inside the kitchen, a pot with cooked human body parts was found inside the oven. What the fuck? Kentucky State Police said it was still warm to touch. She was about to have her some pie of some sort. Toralina May Fields has been charged with obstructing governmental operations, tampering with physical evidence, and abuse of a corpse. I would say so.
I was going to say, that has to be at least one of them, abuse of a corpse.
More charges may be filed, however, as the death investigation remains ongoing, Kentucky State Police said. What is she obviously murdered this lady somehow. She is currently being held at the Bourbon County Detention Center. And ladies and gentlemen, that's not a tour for bourbon. We'll just say that.
J-Bone has not been to the Bourbon County Detention Center yet.
Yeah. That's one he is not visiting.
Mount Olivet, Kentucky is about 2 hours northeast of Louisville. We've been through the back roads of Louisville, and it is terrifying.
Hell, that might have been the Conjuring house we went by.
Yeah, dude. When we got lost in Kentucky that one time, well, we weren't lost, but it was taking us a detour.
We were
around
off
traffic.
the beaten path.
Right.
The GPS was taking us like through all these crazy hills and stuff, and I shit you not, we literally drove by the Conjuring. Like, it looked just like the house in the movie. Creepy.
That's from what I've heard is like the back areas of Kentucky is terrifying.
It's rough.
Yeah,
it's rough, and people like know when you're not from around there, so they just stare you down until you leave. But
yeah, here, bastard.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I could see like something like this happening. I'm sure there's nice people down there, but
yeah,
you know, just like everywhere, there's a handful of crazies that are very capable of murdering their mom and putting them in a cooking pot.
I'm pretty confident the building was just basically a trailer meth house, basically, is what it was.
Yeah, look at that mugshot there, though. Crazy ass bitch.
They took my fucking dinner, man.
I just wonder if her mom was like, you need to grow up and get a job and stop casting spells everywhere. All right.
I can't get anything fixed on this damn property because you keep casting spells on the
right.
You know, she was probably watching Harry Potter when that shit happened. Le Guardian, I'm outside.
Do you think she had like a cauldron? And when the cops came in, she was like, you might want to rethink this. And they were like, hold on, we'll send the robot in.
It probably was like the Elon Musk and it was like the fucking cyborgs.
Oh, I bet there was I bet like the people that showed up there were like, I'm not fucking around with this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
This is above my pay grade. I'm not a fucking psychiatrist for this shit.
Oh man, what
Get J5 out here.
Yeah, Johnny 5, help us solve this crime. You think they were like watching, you know, panning the camera around on the robot, and they were like, "Holy shit!" As if the mattress wasn't leading you into the madness that you were getting ready to go into.
I think it says a lot about the state of the police in America that some little podunk town has a robot.
Right. Well, you know, here's the thing, and they'll kill a guy reaching for their his registration on the highway after he's been pulled over, but they don't just go in guns blazing when they see a body that doesn't have its head, arms, and legs.
Right.
Do you think
why do we waste our time arresting people like that?
Like, just do them a fucking favor and shoot them.
You think?
Yeah. Those people can't be rehabilitated.
Like you're reaching for your glove box to get your wallet. Like, I am reaching for my ID. I am not casting spells. I am not reaching for my spell book.
This cocksucker's got a wand. Back up.
He's got a Necronomicon. Get down.
Get down.
Well, that is messed up.
What kind of black magic is this shit?
If I was one of the cops, I would go in guns blazing.
Don't say black magic, Rob. That's
whatever.
I would go in gun blazing. I would tell them before we go in, headshots only, gentlemen. Headshots only.
Double tap.
No one wants to be a demon at the end of this night. So let's just get it over with.
Like, look, get the robot and get the priest out here.
Having like exorcism through the robot.
Has to bless the robot.
Yeah, bless the robot with holy water.
Do you think it was like Exorcism 3 and some guy was randomly possessing her and casting spells in the house from?
They're gonna send in like James Woods from Vampires.
Yeah. That bitch.
Fuck this.
Yeah.
That's pretty messed up. I don't know, man.
It's definitely some of the craziest news. Like, that might be crazier than the one chick that killed the dude down in his basement.
Was that Shabusiness?
Shabusiness?
Shabusiness. What
I
was
don't
her-
know. That's pretty bad.
That was bad, but this, did
Your
she?
your own mother. Golly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she only cut his head off, right?
No, she
Put it in a
like
bucket or something?
Yeah, she like They said it was just like a horror movie, like
Oh, yeah.
disemboweled and
So
all
it was
that shit.
just as bad.
Yeah.
So
So I
the-
mean, it's they're a tie.
I feel like she just cut his. From what I'm remembering, I knew they found a head in a bucket.
Yeah.
But it's something else, isn't it?
Jesus Christ.
She don't need to be at the Bourbon County. She needs to be at the damn asylum already.
Right.
There should be no trial for this woman here.
It's definitely some of the craziest news I think I've ever read. That between that and the Shabusiness.
It's wild.
Oh man. All right.
Remember
so
that next time you talk shit to somebody at the grocery store or something.
Right.
You don't know. You don't know what they're cooking at home.
this lady may come to my house and dismember my body and bake it
Yeah. We're
while
gonna turn-
casting spells.
We're gonna turn you to a pie, buddy.
Right. Okay, so we're going to move along here. We're going to talk about the newly released Netflix hit movie, It's What's Inside. So there it is right there. I thought this was a very interesting movie. Very different.
I'm surprised I liked it as much as
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, and I kind of want to watch it again, but I will say this is a very Gen Z type movie. As far as like the characters in it, obviously they're younger adults, and like I found myself not being able to relate to any character in this movie.
I didn't like any of them basically.
But that being said, it was still an entertaining movie.
yeah,
It's basically a more science fiction version of Bodies.
Yes.
that's the best way
yes.
to describe it, probably.
some Freaky Friday kind of stuff
Yeah,
going on
with
there.
a touch of that.
So nobody is leaving the same as they came. That's the headline here for the synopsis. A pre-wedding party descends into existential nightmare when an estranged friend shows up with a mysterious suitcase. Now, said suitcase has a device in it, and he presents it as a game. And basically, they put these electronic leads on their heads, and everybody's kind of doing it. And he flips a switch, and your consciousness is transported to another person's body. And they kind of treat it as like a drinking game.
Mhm.
People start mingling, and then kind of gets a little crazy. Certain events happen, and they're like, "Oh shit!" That
Well,
we
there's all
should.
kinds of dynamics going
Yes,
through with the friend backgrounds. You
Yeah.
know, like one of the main girls, she's kind of jealous of her friend who's like an Instagram good-looking woman.
right.
So she's kind of jealous of that. She thinks her boyfriend is kind of like settling for her when he'd rather be with her. And one of the guys is getting married, and there's some people are not sure if he really wants to get married, and
There's-
if he wants somebody else in the group.
Yeah.
There's definitely all these like little subplots that
Right.
kind of add to the movie, and they pay off at the end, which makes it so good, I think.
Yeah.
And then by being in different people's bodies, it sort of allows them to act or not act on those feelings.
Yeah.
Interesting concept.
Yeah.
It has kind of been done by Futurama. There's an episode of Futurama where they switch consciousness, but you can never switch directly back, so you have to have a third person to do it with. So you have to go through the whole group to get it that way. So you did kind of, whoever wrote it did kind of rip off Futurama. Sorry.
Probably
Did
inspired.
they? I'd never seen that episode of
Yeah, I didn't see that
Futurama.
one.
But doesn't everybody kind of take certain
yeah.
things?
Yeah.
It's what inspired me.
Yeah, it is an interesting science fiction-y concept. I didn't love this movie quite as much as you guys did. I did like it. I gave it 3 stars.
I gave it
It's-
3.5 just because the ending really solidified it.
Yeah.
It is an entertaining movie, and it is an interesting concept. Everybody's pretty good in it. It looks good, and the atmosphere is good. I don't know. It's just missing a little something for me. I couldn't quite put my finger on it what it was, but it's worth a watch for sure. And I'm with you that it's good enough, but I don't know, something to. I did appreciate that it was under the usual Netflix 2-hour mark.
And
Yeah.
How about the actors in this movie? I mean, they're not just playing one character.
Right.
They're playing several, some of them anyways.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought it was entertaining, and For what it was something fresh and new. If you haven't seen Futurama, and I just thought it was very entertaining for the night. It was definitely a nice movie to watch during spooky season, I guess you could say. What'd you think, Rob?
I actually enjoyed it pretty much. So
Wasn't shitty enough for Rob.
it wasn't
Did you?
shitty enough for me.
Number one question here: did you like the cinematography?
Yes.
'Cause, you know, me and you are all about the
I
visuals.
love the colors. It had that John Wick vibe with the purples and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
when
So,
there's a scene where two of them are in a room and they're kind of like I don't think they really. Well, they think they know who each other is, but one of them is, you know.
well, what they do is when they kind of switch before that, they take Polaroids and they kind of
Yeah,
figure out whose is like a name tag.
That's part of the game. They take
Yeah.
a Polaroid and they stick that Polaroid on you once they figure out who you are.
Yeah. There you go.
And it was good, man. There was a lot of like Mr. PBS said, there's all these little undertones that kind of add and build the movie up as you go, and then it just boom, it pays off at the end.
Yeah.
So
I
but-
also liked it too is when they do switch and there's interaction or more in-depth conversation, they kind of switch back to who it really is in the body subconsciously.
Yeah.
So I do like that because you kind of get to feel who's really in the body and knows kind of like the little subplot points.
I'm not gonna lie. Did you recognize the one girl that was the Instagram influencer?
She looked familiar, but I couldn't tell.
You don't know who she is?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so let's share the screen here. Here's the cast here, and she's probably the most recognizable one out of the whole entire cast, besides David Thompson. He played Forbes, but Alicia, how do you say her name? Debnam Carey. So she is from. You want to guess still?
No, go ahead.
She's from Fear of the Walking Dead.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, she looks way different. I think because the hair and she's like really dolled up and maked up.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, look, she doesn't look like she's miserable. Or
That too.
anything.
Yeah, she doesn't look like she's dead and had a missing arm.
Yeah, she's not a 5-year survivor of the zombie apocalypse here. So she's all dolled up and
Still hot. in
not
my
that she
opinion.
looks incredibly different or anything, but I'm telling you, I like I said, I'm not gonna lie here. If I was playing this game and I switched to her, like, why is Eric going right to the bathroom? Let's have a look at this body.
Yeah. Start that OF right now.
Yeah. But I did like how there's certain parts of the movie where other people use her celebrity status against her to kind of keep the ball rolling in that direction. But very solid movie. I gave it 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. You gave it 3. What'd you give it?
3.5.
3.5. Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the night, it was fun. It entertained me. And I think that itself warrants a movie above a 2.5 stars. So
it's worth the hour 45 or whatever.
It's definitely a solid 3. And depending on how you interpret, the ending of the movie or whatever, 3.5. It can go to 3.5. But I haven't heard anybody say this movie fucking sucks yet.
Yeah, I haven't heard that. Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of buzz around this movie.
Mhm.
So, but I liked it. I like when stuff comes out and it's newer and it's not really playing off of like a curse or something like that.
Right.
Like there's just too many curse movies.
It's
Which, by the way, we're going to go see Smile 2 with
the 19th.
With
Our buddy Waddell.
Our buddy Waddell, and is G Tops coming?
I believe so.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. Our little wrestling clique will get together and see that movie. Okay, so we are going to move on now to the top 15 horror movies of the 1990s. You guys ready? Are you ready to tackle this?
Are you ready?
Yeah. So let's go.
Let's go.
All right. So do we want to draw straws to see who goes first? I mean, what's the deal here?
I think Robzilla has to go first.
I'll have to go first.
Well, whoever goes first gets an extra pick.
I really felt bad for making Robzilla go first last week on what was it we were talking about?
The 2000s.
2000s.
No, it was Salem's Lot.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Saying
that's my fault.
I pushed you under the bus there, buddy.
Oh no, it's okay.
I know you sometimes you know, like you're like me. Sometimes I gotta hear other people's opinions to
sometimes
kind
you
of
got to steal other people's opinions.
yeah. Sometimes you got to hear other people's opinions to kind of open up your mind and kind of get it out there.
Yeah, be set up like in volleyball.
Rob
ready to
was
spike
like,
it.
you know, Salem's Lot took a lot from Midnight Mass. I mean, who would have thought what was Midnight Mass like? Kind of taking, you know, its storyline off,
Right.
of.
Yeah.
Poor Rob.
Oh, that's okay.
But I felt bad. I sent that to a friend, and he was like, "Don't feel bad. That's what Rob's there for."
Yeah, it is.
I bet you could guess who that friend was.
Yeah.
That's what he's there for.
What he's there for.
Rob, you're there to be pushed under the bus and create content for us. Don't ever apologize for being that way.
Don't ever.
Okay, so top 15 horror movies of the 90s.
All right.
So
So
what-
with me or
Go ahead and yeah, it's on you, Rob. We're leaving you out to dry again.
one of my favorite vampire movies is going to be, of course, John Carpenter's Vampires.
Okay.
Wow, top 15.
It's still like one of my favorite vampire movies. Nothing
So-
better than
so-
James Woods talking shit to vampires and killing them.
It's a bit of a bold choice there from
I know.
Rocco. I think we're all fans of Carpenter's Vampires.
Oh yeah, it's
Some people, and it's maybe not top tier Carpenter, maybe second tier, but some people don't like that one as much as the others. But we're all fans here.
Mhm.
I love that fucking movie. I can't tell you how many times I watched that movie back in the day on like HBO.
That's what I'm saying. Like I always watched it when it came
Like
on.
I just finished the East Coast feed. Now it's time to go to the HBO West Coast channel and watch this
Right.
again. But that was a really good movie, though. I mean, there's this professional body of vampire hunters, and
Right.
they think they're hot shit, and they think they won some kind of battle. Think again.
The question is, did you either of you see the sequel, and do you know who stars in it?
No,
Oh, I have. John Bon Jovi.
John Bon Jovi's in it.
He's a vampire
He's a
hunter in the
vampire.
second one. Yeah.
Oh, we should watch that.
And it's one of the characters from Family Matters is on there as well.
I just remember Bon Jovi's, and I taped it
Mhm.
off TV and watched it once. It's not worth more than one watch probably.
I think I saw it on Sci-Fi. I had it be on Sci-Fi.
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's a movie that has to be
Yeah.
made
Probably-
for the sci-fi.
Probably
channel.
on Stars back in the day or something.
By the way, I did do some reading. During my whole Donnie Darko, I need to find more stuff to strengthen my argument here about the ending of the movie. I was reading that Drew Barrymore's production company actually picked that movie up.
Yeah.
And there was some deal made. It was like $4.5 million or something like that in exchange for her to play the teacher role.
Really?
And can we just take a minute to appreciate how hot Drew Barrymore is in that movie? She
I
is
wish-
a sexy woman.
I
in that
wish she
movie.
was my English teacher.
Right. You're right. I would have got an A in that class.
Like cellar door, yeah, I'll be all about your cellar door.
But if it hadn't have got picked up from that, it would have been like a straight to stars movie, what they were saying.
All right, I guess I'll step up to the plate here, and I'm also picking a vampire movie. Robert Rodriguez's From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, yeah.
That's on there. Oh yeah.
I mean,
That's when I fell in love with Salma Hayek. Just saying.
that,
Good.
you go
I'll say
ahead.
like I said, I didn't go super in depth. I just kind of went through like Letterboxd and sort of like 90s horror movies.
Yeah.
And that's just one I've been watching since forever ago.
It makes me want to watch that movie tonight.
And it's one of those movies like anytime somebody talks about it, I'm like, I can put that in.
Yeah. When that movie came out, my parents were divorced, and my dad lived with one of his friends that he knew through the neighborhood or whatever. And he had a descrambler.
Oh yeah.
So you could watch all the pay-per-view shit.
Right.
And I can't tell you how many times I watched From Dusk Till Dawn while it was on pay-per-view. Like that was just my fucking jam back then.
As a kid, I always wanted a pump action crossbow
Yeah,
in that movie.
yeah.
I was always looking. I was like, where it's got to be there. You can buy one.
Oh, the part where what's his face is sitting down and the one
Sex
band.
Machine.
Yeah. What is his name in real life? I
Tom
have his
Savini.
audio. Yeah, Tom
Tom
Savini.
Savini.
And Tom Savini hits the little button. And,
It's a double six shooter.
yeah. And he shoots that bitch with the little stick pistol or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it. But man, that was such a great fucking movie.
Mhm.
Oh man. So it's on me, right?
Yeah.
Can we have a 90s list without putting Scream in it?
Somebody was going to pick that.
Somebody's
Yeah,
gonna pick
it's
it.
on
I mean,
it's on
it's-
my list.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Listen, horror was on a down slope in the 90s. You know, everything had kind of been done before. There wasn't anything original. Wes Craven comes along and he's like, let's kind of make fun of the movies that I've made over the past couple decades, and let's do something new and fresh with it, and let's make a new slasher movie out of all this while making fun of all this stuff. Let's have fun with it. And man, it was a dynamite movie. This is another one. It's a must watch every October for me.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but dare I say, it's probably the best horror movie of the 90s.
Oh, it's top.
So, yeah,
it's top.
it's definitely the best slasher
Yeah.
of the 90s, I think.
Because a lot of the other ones like are going downhill at the time, like Halloween and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, the Halloweens were pretty bad in the 90s,
right?
I mean, with the exception of like one.
Yeah,
and we know which that one.
And we still love to watch it.
I think either between me and you, we'll probably pick it.
Yeah.
So, all right,
I do love to rewatch Scream just for like the 90s middle class home decors.
Yeah.
Like where Sydney falls asleep on her couch downstairs. I'm like, oh man, that's such a 90s living room.
Yeah.
I love the memes that have been out here lately where they're like, look at this group of young teens enjoying themselves. Not a cell phone in sight.
Living in the moment.
Man, and that was big because he got Drew Barrymore. I mean, they really advertised it as like a Drew Barrymore movie. Officer right in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
People are like, I was like shocked too. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I got killed Drew.
They didn't just offer, they gutted her pretty much.
Hung her and gutted her.
Yeah. So it was good.
Did you guys ever call anybody in the 90s and put on a freaky voice and ask them what their scary movie was?
Oh, I'm sure.
We probably did it sometime. What's your favorite scary movie?
My big boyfriend's going to beat you up. Oh, okay.
It's like, you hang up with me again, bitch. I'll cut you like a fish.
Do you find yourself wanting to do like the Jiffy popcorn?
Yeah.
Like wanting to make it on the stove like she was?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever had a good batch of Jiffy popcorn. I think it's just so hard to make.
Yeah. There's no way. I don't think anybody has, because you always end up burning like half of it. Rob, it's on you. Come on, Zilla. Give us something good here.
The wheels are turning.
Wheels are turning. Okay. So I'm going to go with The Faculty.
The Faculty
is still to this day one of the best sci-fi horror movies.
Faculty is also on my list.
That's another one where I'm kind of like, is it really horror or is it sci-fi?
Yeah, it's kind of like,
it's a fun movie, and it's well deserving to be on a best of 90s list, if you ask me. And it's not just my list, it's our list as the podcast, so I'll allow it.
I think it's horror enough. It's basically a slasher movie.
Pretty much with just alien. Well, and then it kind of goes back, like, I guess you could say Invasion of the Body Snatchers is a horror movie, and it's pretty much a different form of that, but it's definitely good. What's her face was great as the teacher in that gets possessed. Well, not possessed, but inhabited by the aliens.
Famke Jensen or something like that.
Yeah, the chick. She was Jean in the X-Men movies, and she was in Goldeneye.
It's another Robert Rodriguez with Selma Hayek there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh man, gotta watch The Faculty now. Yeah. It might be like a Scream Faculty night.
Right.
All right, PBS.
Oh boy, let me see here. Get back to the list. Let's pick. Oh, so many I want to get on the list here. Let's pick Event Horizon.
That's on my list as well.
Man, we are just some sci-fi loving mofos on this.
We do. We love that shit.
That's another one where I'm like, is it really a horror movie? But
when Sam Neill drags you to hell, it is a horror movie.
That's a Paul W.S. Anderson movie?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Rob might be mad at me for this. He may be mad at me. I'm going to go Halloween H2O.
It's my list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great Halloween movie. And it was really big because, there'd been this gap where Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't involved with the franchise, and she makes this giant comeback. And of course, Josh Hartnett's in it. I mean, can you go wrong with Josh Hartnett?
I think one of his first movies, that I remember seeing him in.
Yeah. But I mean, Josh Hartnett, he slayed it at the end of the 90s, didn't he?
He did.
He was on top of
did.
it. But yeah, I'm going with that one. And the ending to that was just so freaking great. Can you? I mean, I didn't see it in theaters.
I did. Everybody cheered and clapped at the
Yes,
end.
the part where she decapitates Michael at the end, I just imagine everybody going nuts, throwing shit up in the air.
When he's reaching out to grab her hand, they're like, "What the fuck?" And he just hauls off, and in course they fucking bring him back.
Yeah. Shit. No one cares.
Yeah,
decapitate that mofo.
Right.
And then they had to ruin it with the other one. I mean, it just kind of shit on that
trick or
movie.
treat, motherfucker.
Right.
All right, Busta.
I always imagine which one was that? Was that Resurrection?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wished, and I don't really like found footage movies, but I wish it had done that more as a found footage movie because they got the camera set up in the house and all
And
that.
that was actually kind of ahead of its time as well when Scream 4 came out as well. So I feel like with that, it was ahead of its time.
I think it would have been a little ahead on the found footage stuff if they'd have tried that.
All right. So it's on you again, Zilla.
This is a personal favorite. I don't think it's like best, but I gotta go with The Final Friday. Jason Goes to Hell.
I appreciate you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you. I love that movie.
I do. Every time it's on, I love it.
That one gets a lot of hate because it's not exactly a Jason movie. But I watched it once. I thought it was all right.
Well, the kills, the brutality of it, and then I think they were trying to, with this movie, integrate. Besides Freddy, was also Ash from Evil Dead because the Nomicon is in it. So
they're trying to do something. After 8 or 9 movies.
Yeah.
That would be so cool for them to do a crossover with Ash and Jason. That would have been cool.
Well, I think even Robert Englund said he would love to do it, and I think he's like one of the writers said that. Well, I don't know how to bring you back. He's like, you had a fucking dog piss on me, and I came back to life. You'll figure it out. I mean, like, it's true.
I did see an interview with Robert Englund the other day, and he said he just can't do a Freddy movie anymore.
I think he's just too old to sit for the makeup and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, that he was like, I could do like one take, but I can't do, constant takes and all that. But kind of makes you sad. So
it'd be nice if they did like some animated thing.
And that's what he said. He was like, I'm 100% down to do some high-end animation, but as far as an actual live action movie, I just can't do it.
Okay.
And I felt,
dude's in his 70s. I mean,
yeah. You just can't expect people to be that workhorse anymore when they get that age, especially for a movie where you're doing a little kind of, crazy shit here and there.
Right.
So, all right, PBS, it's on you.
I mean, since we're doing horror icons, I'm doing Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
It's on my list as well.
I was going to pick that next if you hadn't gotten there.
Which I don't know if I would have put H2O or the Final Nightmare there on my list. They're both okay, but New Nightmare is, it came out a year or two before Scream, and it was really Wes Craven kind of starting to get into the meta horror thing. And I still remember the movie trailer of like one of the FX guys builds Freddy's glove, and like it starts like crawling over the set or whatever, and freaked me the hell out.
Yeah.
Bitch.
That's a great movie too. And once again, he kind of took his old material and put a different spin on it this time. And it was good. To me, I only acknowledge like 3 Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and that's the third one.
I always say, I think my Elm Street hot take is always that Dream Warriors is a little bit overrated. And I always think New Nightmare is like my second favorite Elm Street movie.
Definitely. I'm right there with you. When we were in line to get our photo op with Robert Englund and Heather Langenkamp, people were talking about how great Dream Warriors were, and we both looked at each other like, if only these people knew us.
I really did want to be like, it's okay.
Just to see the reaction, like, this motherfucker.
Okay, so it's on me, I guess.
Yep.
Man. All right. So I think I'm going to go with I Know What You Did Last Summer.
It's on my list.
It's a great slasher movie.
It is.
I mean, probably one of my favorite horror movies, if I'm being honest.
The only time you're ever going to be afraid of a fisherman.
Yeah. I mean, and the cast was so great in that movie too.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that's my pick. So
it's a fun one.
Who doesn't love to see what's her face?
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah, showing her big old boobies around, like, come
what are you waiting for?
Come
what
on.
Are you waiting for?
Wait for you to take off that top.
Big old teenage crush right there.
Oh yeah,
Who didn't love that girl back when you were a kid?
she was very much influence over our generation. We'll say that she was very popular. All right, so let me plug this in on our little list here. Rob, you can go ahead with your
What are we up to? 6 or 9?
9.
So my personal favorite is probably not great, but I love Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight.
Okay. I don't think I've ever watched that all the way through.
I watched it all the time when it came on.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, it's very fun.
It's a fun one.
1995.
Some Billy Zane.
Billy's, yep.
Yeah,
That's got a pretty stacked cast too.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Billy Zane in that movie.
Oh, he's great in it.
That's another guy. Like, where the fuck's Billy Zane been?
He just plays in these really bad B movies.
Can somebody get him some quality work? I mean,
I feel like wasn't he in something pretty good recently?
he might have been.
I know he was in Titanic as the piece of shit, and he's real big because he got cast and played in the Phantom.
Yeah, well, he did the Phantom, and then he was like the running joke in Zoolander. So, they go to that party and Billy Zane's there.
Yeah.
All right. So it is on you, PBS.
I think scrolling. I think I will have to pick Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I was waiting on you to pick that.
Some Francis Ford Coppola. I remember it was a big deal when this one came out. He went back and did, I don't know if they're all practical effects, but his son basically became an FX supervisor because he had to figure out how to practically do all these effects that hadn't been done in 20 or 30 or 40 years.
Man, people really love to shit on Keanu Reeves in this movie. I'm like, you leave Keanu alone.
He's not that bad. I mean,
No.
if he's the worst thing about that movie, it's still not that bad.
Right, exactly.
We got Anthony Hopkins, Gary Oldman, Winona.
Like, you try acting when there's 3 attractive women pretending to,
So rub upon you.
Yeah. So
Give you the Transylvania dry hump.
chances are you won't be able to maintain that accent that you're trying to put on, even though he doesn't really try to put on an accent.
Accents are always funny. I don't know. I don't really pay attention. They're like time travel. I'm not going to nitpick them.
Yeah. Okay. So is it back to me? It's back to me. So I've got a list up here of things you can watch or whatever. So we've already done a handful of these. You know what? I'm just gonna throw it out here. I'm gonna put The Craft.
Okay.
It's witchcraft, a little something for everybody on this list here. And it was one of the better horror movies of that time. If you can, it was a witchcraft curse kind of movie, but very solid cast too. Nev Campbell's in that. So
let your basic white girl out, buddy. Do it.
Hell yeah, dude. I love this movie. I was a big Nev Campbell fan in the 90s.
They used to play it on Sci-Fi or TNT all the time. My sister loves this movie.
It's funny too. Isn't the one killer in this movie as well from Scream?
Is Skeet in that?
I think
yeah, Skeet's in it.
Skeet's in it.
Yeah, Skeet's in it. Skeet.
All over the 90s.
Okay, let me plug this in. The Craft. How awesome would that be to just be able to change your hair?
All right. So what is it? It's the final round here? Up to 12 picks?
Yes, 12. So we're on 13, then 14, 15.
Big moment, Rob. What's it going to be? What's making it into the canon here?
I gotta have it, but Army of Darkness.
Oh, you bastard.
Got to.
I was thinking about having that on my list, but I just couldn't quite put it on my list. Good stuff, though.
Yeah.
Hail to the king, baby. Give me some sugar.
And
baby.
I remember seeing that movie theater. I had no idea about Evil Dead 2 at all. And I was like, this movie's fucking great. I loved it.
And that's kind of like the beauty of Army of Darkness. You can just kind of watch it as a standalone film.
Yo, she bitch.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So many great lines from that movie too.
Give me some sugar, baby.
Hail to the king. All right. I guess it's on you now.
All right. I'm gonna get this one in the top 15 just because it's 90s Halloween staple that I love it. Ernest Scared Stupid.
That's on my list as well.
My guy. My guy. Is it a horror movie though? I mean,
Oh yeah, freak me the hell out.
it's a little kid horror movie,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean,
It's got designs. The trolls designed by I'm going to say the name wrong. The Choido brothers, who did Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Eartha Kitt's crazy in it.
Oh man, I'm left with the last pick. How did I didn't want to pick the last pick.
Wanted to leave it on Rob to slip up there at the end on a banana peel.
Man, what do I go with here? There's Brain Dead.
there was one movie I wanted to say, but I just go with that one though. But
See, I want to kind of put Wolf in here with Jack Nicholson,
you're not going to put bad movie.
but I can't do it because of that.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? You see, Rob, you're not going to do it. Let me finish, Rob. But I feel like Wolf isn't necessarily like a true on horror movie here, going back to this. So yes, Rob, I have to put a nice werewolf movie in here in the top 15. We're going Bad Moon.
My wolf story is that back in the day, my dad and my sister and I were going to the movies, and I forget what we were going to see. And we walk into the theater, and it's dark already, and it's full. And we sit down, and we didn't realize it, but the showtimes must have been running late or something. And we sat down like at the very end of Wolf. All those people must have been looking like, what the hell are they doing? It's the end of the movie.
Right. I did like the concept of Wolf.
I still need to see it. I still need to watch it all the way.
Yeah, it's a great movie. The part where he like pisses on the dude's shoe or whatever, like that's great. That's
I like when they're
shit.
like fighting like actual dogs who like he gets and he bites him. He's like, "Roar!"
Here's a couple honorable mentions I'll throw out. Sixth Sense, not really a horror movie, but it had a lot of influence back then in the 90s. Stephen King's Misery. Misery was a big one.
I was surprised you didn't say Misery.
That would have been on there maybe if I'd had one more pick. We'll talk about this one here in a little bit, I think, but Silence of the Lambs, again, not quite a horror movie, but definitely
some pretty graphic,
inspirational.
Stuff, yeah.
I was going to put the It miniseries from the 90s on there because I always think of that as a movie. And one of my favorites, again, maybe not quite a horror movie, but Cube from the 90s. Love Cube.
I have that on there. As well.
No, I've never seen Cube.
Yeah, Cube's awesome.
Yeah. Everybody tells me like, oh, you'll love it. Watch it. And I'm just never find the time to watch it.
Yeah, it's all hyped up.
I would say my honorable mentions has to be Idle Hands. I love Idle Hands.
Idle Hands was great.
I remember going to the movie theater like the 50 Cent. I've seen it like 5-6 times.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it.
I don't know if I've ever seen that all the way through.
Oh, it's hilarious because like the Offspring's playing and then the fucking hand comes down and scalps the lead singer.
What about Tremors, man?
That was on my list as well.
One of us said,
this is a fun one.
House on a Haunted Hill.
That's on there as well.
That was a really good movie. I mean, that's 99. That's at the end of this
Blair Witch Project.
decade. Yeah, the Blair Witch.
If Hot Sauce were here, Blair Witch would have been on there.
Yeah.
I never like Blair Witch was okay, but I didn't think it was like. I mean, obviously it was groundbreaking because they did the handy cam and it was found footage, but I don't know. I can't solidify it as like my top, top list for that.
I also
era.
had The Relic. That was a great monster.
The Relic
movie.
was great too. Yeah.
Mimic.
Del Toro.
Del Toro. I also had Bordello Blood, but I like Demon Knight better.
None of us said Blade either.
I had Blade on my list, but I'm like,
I was surprised it didn't come out of you too.
Yeah, that would have been on my list if I'd had a few more picks. So it's on my list for sure.
I had American Werewolf in Paris, but man, that CGI did not age well.
It doesn't hold up.
No. I still like the concept of it, but
I loved American Werewolf in Paris when it came out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a really good movie for its time, but the years have not been kind to it as far as comparing it to other horror movies that have held up. Like Bad Moon still holds up today. The Howling still holds up today. American Werewolf in London is never going to age out of existence because it is the best, it's the best werewolf movie out there, I think. But it's sad that we have to penalize it for that because, I mean, it was a good movie for its time, but it just doesn't hold up nowadays. That being said, even with like a first-time watcher, I could see them not liking it because they're used to seeing much better produced movies, I guess you could say, as far as like the effects and stuff like that. they really fucked up by not doing practical effects in that movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember like even what was it? Underworld. Like the werewolves in that were great.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That was on there.
That's definitely a hard honorable mention for me.
Yeah.
Your Alien Resurrection too.
I-
Stigmata was decent.
Mm.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, End of Days. I kind of want to watch that again.
That's almost a good movie.
Yeah.
It's like there's something there, but they just didn't know what they wanted to go for exactly.
Yeah. I mean, some of the interaction with him and his buddy, his other cop partner, it's pretty fucking funny.
I don't buy Arnold like as the widowed guy who's all sad about his wife and child or something. I just didn't quite do it for him.
I prefer the stretch with that. I mean, I appreciate him doing that.
Here you go. The
Branching out.
Frighteners.
I love that movie.
I was almost going to put that on there.
That's one of those things where the CGI does not hold up to that.
Really? I watched it a couple years ago and I thought it was fine.
Ghost, like the certain ghosts.
I don't think that's one where it's supposed to be like edge of your seat cutting.
No,
whatever.
It was kind of a silly movie with a kind of straightforwardness to it.
But like
they're supposed to look goofy.
Yeah, but I like the concept of it too, of death killing ghosts, and it's
yeah, it was a great movie, man. Great movie. Phantoms.
I put that on there.
Ben Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms, yo. The Haunting too.
I have that on there.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one being very good.
It was okay.
I remember people laughing at that one in the theater. I think
that's got your boy Liam Neeson in it.
Liam Neeson's.
Yeah, that's definitely worth a watch, a rewatch, anyways. Let's see here. Devil's Advocate. Not really a horror movie, but it was still good. It's funny, like Google has these like kind of like sectioned off into like suspenseful horror movies. For you. Top horror movie picks. Splatter.
Species.
Yes, Species was good. Guess what is the first one for Splatter?
I don't know.
For 90s Splatter?
Yeah.
Is that 90s or 80s? Society?
No.
That's Society might be 80s. Was it
I
Dead
figured
Alive?
it's gonna be that one.
Brain Dead.
Brain Dead, Dead Alive.
So, well, like, why can't we just call it Dead Alive?
Yeah. Well, because
which one was first?
Well, I believe Brain Dead was the
Bill
official
Pullman,
title.
Yeah.
But there was another movie called Brain Dead.
It's got Bill Pullman in it.
Yeah.
Audition was 1999.
I've only watched that the one time, and
it's not really horror.
It's definitely like
it's weird and creepy.
It's more psychological, but I mean, obviously she does the
wire thing.
Like my ankles are getting sweaty right now just thinking about it, but I don't know if I'd call it like I'd have to revisit that one.
See, I'm a little upset too because like I love The Serpent and the Rainbow. That came out in 88 or 89. So I'm like
Frankenhooker's on the list of
Yes,
splatters.
What a day!
I forgot we also Graveyard Shift too. I love Graveyard Shift.
I don't think I've ever watched Graveyard Shift.
Which one is that?
Where they're a cleaning crew and they fall through and some kind of creatures kill them.
Okay.
What was the movie you were talking about?
I always get my graveyard shifts and my night shifts and everything else.
Last week, it was a Stephen King adaptation
from the Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
Jerusalem something maybe, or
where they were talking about, you shouldn't go to Salem's Lot.
Like they get caught in a storm.
Yeah, the story is called One for the Road.
Oh,
okay. So it's not an actual movie?
No.
Okay.
Well, there is Stephen King had these things called dollar babies, where like if you were a student or something like that, he would sell you the rights for $1 and you could make your movie. Yeah, and the only condition was like you couldn't like actually like exhibit it, or you could show it to class and some stuff like that. So somebody did make a movie of it, but it's just like a student film kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they did make a movie called Return to Salem's Lot, but it's a little out there. Interesting, but out there.
Not one of us said Leprechaun.
It's on my list.
I'm the Leprechaun.
Dr. Giggles. That freaked me out as a kid.
Jacob's Ladder too.
I've never seen that one.
I've never seen it all the way through either. I've just seen clips of it.
Nightbreed.
Sleepy Hollow is out there too. You said Mimic, right?
Yeah, Mimic.
Yeah.
Deep Rising.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I love that movie. And then like there's a theory like it's a prequel to like Kong Island or something like that. Skull's Island.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Reanimator.
Yeah.
See, the Bride of what is it called? The Reanimator.
Yeah, I think it's just
The Bride of Reanimator.
Right.
Yeah.
they fall off a little bit after the first one. I think I've got
Is that the second or third one?
Bride is second.
Okay.
And then there is a third one that I can't remember what it's called, I think.
7.
Yes. Well, I mean, serial killer.
Right.
I just don't find serial killer movies to be horror movies because it's a crime drama to me.
And they also had I Come in Peace, but that's more of a sci-fi action. Sleepwalkers.
Oh yeah.
That's a bit of a bonkers one.
Yeah, that one's pretty crazy. I like Mind Ripper a lot.
And no one said Exorcist 3 either.
Screamers. Project Metal Beast.
Tremors.
Robert Glenn's just naming stuff now.
Candyman. Nobody said Candyman either.
That used to freak me out as a kid.
I'm not a big fan of the Candyman series.
Neither am I.
Yeah.
The first one's good enough.
It has its place in the 90s horror genre, but it's just something that I don't know. I just can't connect with it.
Yeah.
And
Stir of Echoes.
yeah, Stir of Echoes was decent.
Still never seen that one all the way through.
Yeah, I keep looking at all these. Thinner was good. I like that. Rob, you didn't put Hocus Pocus in here. What's wrong with you?
A bastard, I know. Sorry. Freddy's Dead. How horrible that movie was.
Oh yeah. From Dusk Till Dawn 2 was 1999. Surprised you didn't put that in there, Rob.
No.
I was waiting on you.
No.
I was really waiting on Rob to throw like one shitty movie.
Well,
in our top
They
15.
did do, I think, like 4 or 5, like
How many
back to back.
How many Children of the Corns did they make?
Dude, there's like, I swear, it's like 30 of them.
Yeah, stop.
I like the.
Oh, you know what? I just realized nobody said Pumpkinhead either.
Well,
Pumpkinhead's a good one, but
Is Pumpkinhead 90s or is it 80s?
I put Pumpkinhead too.
Pumpkinhead 2.
Now that movie is really good. I like that one a lot.
What year was that made? Hold on, let's see.
Pumpkinhead might be like end of the 80s.
Yeah, I think it might be like
88.
87.
88. Pumpkinhead 2 was 1994 though.
Yeah. And I think that was actually a pretty good sequel.
Have you guys rewatched Pumpkinhead lately?
It's been a couple years.
It's been a while.
I haven't watched it since I was a kid, and it terrified the shit out of me back then.
It's still terrifying to a degree for me, just because like the way it looks, the creature. It's so.
Are you afraid you're gonna piss some old man off, and he's gonna recite some chant to bring back some demon after you?
Lance Hendrickson.
Okay, so
Watchers 2. That was a horrible movie.
Yeah, was it?
Tales from the Hood.
Yeah,
that's a fun one.
It was another fun movie. Yeah, it was a fun one.
I think what was the kid that is getting beat up by his stepdad, who's like a monster. That episode was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so this is kind of like our bonus content. I guess you could say it's the last segment because it's gonna be the last thing we talk about. But we're gonna talk about Variety.com's list of the 100 best horror movies of all time. Okay, let's put this up on the screen. All right, look at that. That's a nice little
nice graphic there.
Yeah, I dig it. Okay, number 100.
Are you gonna read some of the intro? I don't know if I ever read that to see how they came up with it.
Go list. If you want to read the intro, go for it,
let
dude.
me pull it up here.
I will not stop you from doing that.
I'll pull it up here real quick just so you can see if they say anything worth anything. Variety 100 best. All right, here we go. This article is by like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people from Variety. If cinema is like dreaming with our eyes open, then horror movies could rightly be viewed as waking nightmares, an opportunity to confront our unconscious fears directly, most often as entertainment. Oh, ad pop-up. But sometimes with the express purpose of terrifying ourselves. On-screen frights take every form imaginable, from iconic boogeymen like Frankenstein and Freddy Krueger to real-world threats, be it psychosis, contagion, or off-putting in-laws. Get out, anyone? In compiling a list of the genre's highest achievements, we considered it all from highbrow to lo-fi, pure schlock to Hitchcock, whose Psycho topped our greatest films list, but not this one, reaching back to the advent of cinema. Well, maybe not quite the beginning. According to legend, 1895 audiences recoiled in fear when they saw the train pull into whatever La Kyoto station in the Lumiere brothers' early actuality film.
It's not just me.
I didn't take French, but I do know
Right.
the Lumiere brothers. We don't count that as horror, though it certainly demonstrated the medium's capacity to startle people. The question, what is horror, echoed at the center of every discussion, with long hours spent arguing over where the boundaries lie for a genre that has launched many a career. How often has one of these waking nightmares upset you enough to resurface in your dreams? If we've done our job, you'll want to join the debate. Here we are, joining the debate.
Joining the debate.
There's quite a few older movies that I have not seen. That I mean, I like to check out, but
I think
Rob, you just download the letterbox list of all these movies and you start checking them off the list.
All right, number 100 is Repulsion. Have you seen that movie, PBS?
Yes, it's Roman Polanski. I've only seen it once. I've got it on Criterion.
I can't watch it if it's Roman Polanski. I'm sorry.
That's your right.
My soul will be diminished if I support that guy.
And from what I remember, it's like this young woman is like alone in her apartment, and weird stuff starts happening, and it's supposed to sort of psychologically be about like her awakening sexuality and all that. The thing that I think it's maybe most known for is there's an image of her like walking down the hall and like the hands pop out of the hallway, kind of like Freddy Krueger's face does in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay. All right. Number 99, Suspiria.
I mean,
I still haven't. I'm waiting on you to bring it over.
Yeah.
We'll have to get a night here. We got to do it soon.
say I'm not watching it till I watch it with Mr. PPS. So,
but I mean, 99. We'll see how we go. The Dario Jenner classic. Girl goes to a dancing school in Germany, and there's some witches.
Okay.
Really good stuff.
I'm very interested in it. I hear nothing but great things about it.
I still love Demons.
Do you? 98, The Devil's Backbone, 2001. Don't think I've ever heard of that movie.
It's Del Toro.
Yeah.
If you like look at it, you know it's like a Del Toro movie.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
about
It's got that heavy influence on it.
Yeah.
I think it's about like an orphanage or something, or a school like in the middle of the Spanish-American War or Spanish Civil War.
Yeah.
And like there's a ghost of a dead boy, and it kind of gets wrapped. I've only seen that one once.
I don't think I've seen it, but I've heard of it. I know it's by Del Toro. So
Gotcha. The Haunting, 1963. That's a PBS movie all the way.
Still haven't seen this one.
Really?
This is on like Martin Scorsese's like top 10 horror movies.
Really?
I think it's maybe not the first, but it's one of the first.
Is that list available on Letterboxd?
I'm sure it is. You could just Google it. It'll show up.
Yeah.
But this is like The Haunting of Hill House.
Okay.
So supposed to be pretty good.
All right. 96, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1978. I just watched that the other night.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie.
This is like when people talk about remakes, this is like one of the best remakes there is.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum, Leonard Nimoy, all the good stuff.
Did they do another remake of that?
They did. So there's the original. There's that one. There's one in the 90s just called Body Snatchers. Maybe that's pretty good. I actually had it on my 90s
Did
list.
Nicole Kidman do one?
Did she do one?
Or is that a movie that's kind of similar to the Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
it's similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember her being in like a convenience store chugging Mountain Dew.
People get infected, but once they go to sleep, that's when the infection takes over, and then they don't have any emotions or anything like that.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I forget which one that one's called.
95, Dead Alive, Brain Dead, 1991.
I think it's just a fun gore movie. So I mean,
Peter
that's
Jackson
fun.
and
Yeah.
What
I remember
they don't quite
acting-
turn into zombies, do they? But they turn into something like zombies.
They're like undead.
They're pretty much zombies.
Well, I think it starts from like a getting bit by some kind of monkeys or something like that.
Yeah, it was
It's like an infested monkey or something.
him and his mom are at the zoo and he's trying to date this girl, and
Yeah.
his mom is very much a my son's not going to date anybody kind of mom.
Yeah.
And the monkey bites her, and it starts with her and kind of goes on. But I thought it was interesting how they set it up at the beginning of the movie where they're trying to get the monkey out of its habitat or whatever, so they can bring it back and put it in the zoo. The one guy gets bit, and they're like, "Oh no!" So they chop his arm off, and
they see another mark. They just
They
start
chop
chopping
the other
it off.
arm
Yeah.
off.
It's almost like the ruins.
yeah.
I need to revisit this. I haven't watched it in a while, but Peter Jackson needs to get on it. Peter Jackson is supposed to have been working on like putting these on Blu-ray and 4K for like 10 years now.
I was gonna say, how could you have rewatched it? It's been in my house for 2 years.
even before that, it's been a while since I watched it. So get on it, Peter Jackson.
The lawnmower scene was definitely entertaining.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard with the old man, like pastor was like fighting them out in the cemetery.
Yeah. It's a decent little movie.
Party's
sure.
over.
Especially if you're into gore. There's
Yeah.
tons of that 90s gore in there.
Yeah.
94 Event Horizon.
I already talked about that a little bit. Just classic 90s sci-fi horror movie. Better than Suspiria? I don't know about something like that.
Yeah.
That's where the list starts to get a little crazy.
You're like, what?
Have you seen Cat People? 1942.
I own Cat People, sir.
Do you really?
Oh yeah, this is
I own it.
and the 1980 remake.
Okay.
Yeah. Jacques Tournier directed, Val Lewton produced. It's one of those movies. It's very influential. You know, that's a Scorsese love movie. Lots of shadows and all that. It's just it's really good. Check that one out.
You really should have went to film school, shouldn't you?
I don't know. I'd hate to do something I like.
Yeah.
It would just ruin it. You know, I just like watching movies.
92 The Human Centipede.
Better than Suspiria?
Are we serious here? Better than Event Horizon?
Yeah, no.
Come on.
Brain Dead better than Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
And they're putting that as the shock value.
They need to fire whoever's coming up with these lists.
What's it say? What's it say about it?
In 2009, when the Dutch what is that word? Gugino prankster? What is that word? You're the civilized motherfucker. Gugnol. Okay.
Yeah.
Prankster Tom Six directed the Human Centipede first sequence, a movie about a lunatic German physician who kidnaps a trio of tourists and carries out a mad experiment to conjoin them, mouths to anus. It felt as if the cinema of sick horror had gone as far as it could go, but that was just an appetizer. The sequel makes the earlier film look restrained from its seething protagonist, a parking attendant played with mentally damaged, sweat-soaked conviction by Lawrence R. Harvey, to the now 12 characters he traps in East London garage so that he can conjoin them to create the ultimate in barf bag mutilation. At this point, you may be asking, why does Human Centipede 2 count as a forceful horror rather than unspeakable junk? The answer is that Tom Six very cannily taps not just our disgust, but our voyeurism, our desire to see the unseeable. I don't know about that.
Sure.
Okay, sure.
There's a part in that movie where this girl stomps on her baby that she gives birth to, and it like I was like down on that, and it's all shot in black and white to kind of gross you out even more. Yeah.
Well, and plus in the first one he made, with the movie he does it, scientifically how he does it. And this one he just like
the first one it's silly. Yeah. And this one's even sillier.
The South Park episode when they do it's hilarious.
But if you don't have a strong taste for horror, this is not your.
It's brutal with like him knocking the people's teeth. That's what's
I was
really
just getting
tough.
ready to get
that
to
one's
that.
What's really tough for me.
There's a part where he knocks this dude's teeth out with a hammer, and I mean they show it is.
That's what's tough.
Like stomping on the clearly fake dead baby was one thing. You start fucking with the teeth. I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing to do with it.
That's why I hated Dr. Giggles. I'm like, that motherfucker's killing people taking their teeth.
Yeah, 91 Dead of Night. You got that one too?
Yep. It's a classic anthology film.
Yeah.
I've only seen that one once. All I remember is like the scene with the dummy. Like what's one of those dummy comes to life segments. Really good.
90s A Page of Madness.
I don't know that one.
What?
It's 1926.
That might be not in his wheelhouse.
A man takes it's Letterboxd. A man takes a job at an asylum with hopes of freeing his imprisoned wife. So
okay.
It's got to be, I don't know which country. It's Chinese or Japanese or one of those.
89 is Horror of Dracula. I'm going to start speeding this up since we don't have all day.
Yeah. We're talking about Christopher Lee's Dracula, Hammer, classic. Love it.
88 is Blood Feast, 1963. You got that one?
Nope. Don't know that one. I think that's more of like a low budgety kind of one.
That chick's kind of cute there, minus the gaping hole in her chest.
Remind her of missing heart.
Yeah. 87, The Vanishing.
Classic one. This is like a guy's wife or girlfriend or whatever goes missing. And then it's a few years later after he's been looking for her, the person who took her comes forward and says like, I'll show you what happened to her. I'll take you on the journey and all that. Pretty good.
86, Village of the Damned.
That's a fun one about, alien kids. All right.
I think I've seen the remake, but not the original.
85, Reanimator.
Classic Reanimator.
Okay. 84 is Dead Ringers.
Cronenberg. It's a good one. I don't know if I'd put it above some of his other ones that I don't think are on the list, but it's good, worth checking out. Better than Suspiria? I don't know about that.
You're not going to let the Suspiria being that high up go, are you?
That's just sort of the one I'm thinking about right now. We'll get to some other ones as we get lower that I'm like, better than this or that?
83, Little Shop of Horrors, 1960.
I don't know if I've ever seen the 1960s
I
all
haven't
the way
seen
through.
that. I've only seen the musical one.
82, What Lies Beneath. I've actually never seen this one.
I probably haven't seen it since right after it came out.
Yeah, that sounds all right with me.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Worth checking out. Need to revisit.
81, The Wolfman. That's got PBS
this
written all
is
over
like
it.
one of my all-time favorite horror movies. Period! Exclamation point.
How did you feel about the more newer one with Benicio del
Still haven't
Toro?
watched it.
I liked it.
It's not bad.
I need to check it out.
No, it's funny now that it's an older film. It seems like it has more of a cult kind of following, and people recognize it a little bit more now than what they did when it came out.
I'll kill all of you.
But yeah, Wolfman's a classic for me.
80, House of Wax, 1953.
I can't remember if I've seen this one or not. There's a couple of them from back then.
I've never seen the original, but I fucking love that shitty 2000s one. 79, The Omen, 1976.
Omen's good. I don't know. I always kind of find some of these movies overrated a little bit.
Yeah,
it's good though. It's good
I'm
movie.
just not a fan of that whole Omen kind of storyline.
Well, not even Exorcist, but yeah, kind of
Antichrist, whatever.
The Antichrist seed, you know,
it's like okay.
I just don't care.
Probably the best one of those.
78 is Angst, 1983.
I haven't seen this one. Heard of it, but haven't seen it.
Neither have I.
Yeah, me either.
77's The Blob, 1958. Never watched the original.
I never seen the original.
It's fun. It's definitely a little on the campy kind of side and all that, but it's a fun watch.
76, I Walk with a Zombie, 1943.
That's a fun one. I think that's another Val Lewton, Jacques Tournier one.
the conviction he speaks with.
Yeah, that's
I feel like an uneducated swine when he starts talking about.
You certainly are.
Okay, now we've got some straight up disrespect here. 75, The Descent.
No,
how is it that low?
That's gonna be higher.
74, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now we're really
at 75 or 4 and 5. You know, that's
we're really talking about some disrespect here.
They're spitting in our faces.
Yeah, Wes Craven is rolling around in his grave right now.
These motherfuckers.
He's coming after somebody in their nightmares.
Yeah. 73, The Blood of Dracula, 1974.
I haven't seen this one. It's got Udo Kier in it. It's kind of like one of those cult classic ones.
Yeah,
but I do own it, but haven't watched it yet.
72, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Another kind of all-time favorite for me right there.
Period! Exclamation point. That's right.
I would put the Wolfman over it, but Creature's the Creature. Gilman's the Gilman.
They're remaking that, aren't they?
They've been talking about it forever.
Well, they were supposed to do it in that dark universe.
Yeah,
but with that, I think it got canceled.
71, Hostel Part 2. It's okay.
Better than Nightmare on Elm Street. And
right? Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
70, The Wailing.
Still need to see this one. Everybody talks good stuff about it.
I don't think I've ever heard of this one.
I think it's a Korean one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's supposed to be good. It's probably streaming somewhere.
What's it about here? Let's see. When it comes to horror, however, where does it tell me? Introducing an unnamed. When it comes to horror, however, here introducing an unnamed, impossible to define epidemic to an otherwise peaceful rural community. Okay. So is it definitely a disease movie?
Stranger arrives in a little village, and soon after, a mysterious sickness starts spreading. A policeman is drawn into the incident and is forced to solve the mystery in order to save his daughter.
Sounds good.
Streaming on Netflix. Probably one of the reasons I'm sure I haven't watched this because it's like a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, 2016 though. 69, Near Dark, 1987.
It's a good one. I like it.
Yeah.
Catherine Bigelow, vampires, Bill Paxton.
It's okay. 68, The Sixth Sense. I think that's probably right where it deserves to be. 67, Possession, 1981. Not seen that one.
This one's worth a watch. It's gets a little crazy, especially with Isabella Gianni there. Yep, Sam Neill.
Look at that young Sam Neill.
Yep.
66, The Babadook.
That can go lower.
We want to talk about overrated.
You mean higher.
Yeah, higher, whatever.
We want to talk about overrated movies here. People were like, "Oh, The Babadook is awesome." I watched it. I was like, "That shit sucked."
I was more terrified of the child than the Babadook.
Yeah,
you should be, Rob. You should be.
Like those poor people for bothering the Babadook.
He's like, all I want you to do is shut that kid up.
65, The Incredible Shrinking Man.
It's another classic there. I think it was written by Richard Matheson. Great special effects for the time. It's definitely worth checking out.
definitely look at that.
Was there ever like a kind of like a remake of that?
There may have been. I know there's been like some spoofs and stuff.
Okay, that might be it then.
64, Planet Terror. I love that movie. It's so fun.
It's a fun movie.
I think
it is so fun.
I think they only put Planet Terror on here. I don't think they put Death Proof, and they didn't put just Grindhouse on this. It's kind of weird.
I kind of want to meet Rose McGowan,
but I do like Planet Terror. Planet Terror is good.
If you meet her, do you have her sign Scream or Planet Terror? That's the question.
I'm gonna say Planet Terror because she's the main role in that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to find a picture of her with the
machine gun
leg.
Yep.
63, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Oh, that's totally PBS.
Another classic horror movie from back in the day.
62, Gremlins, 1984. It's a classic.
Who doesn't love some Gremlins?
Right.
Now,
better than Elm Street, Suspiria. I don't know about all that.
Is it a Christmas movie or a horror movie?
That's the debate.
Yes.
Yes and yes. Exactly. 61, Candyman.
Candyman. Candyman's not.
Candyman's really okay.
It's good, but
I recognize its place in the 90s horror, but
I never watched the remake.
60, Funny Games, 1997.
I've seen the remake, but not the 97 version.
I need to watch it. I've got my Criterion at home. It's supposed to be look kind of brutal.
59, Whatever Happened to Baby Jan.
Never seen that one all the way through either.
I was gonna say it looks like it's
it's definitely an old school classic, but haven't seen that one.
58, Raw. I hear good things about this movie, but
I think it's a little overhyped. It's good. It's about a girl who starts eating raw meat, and maybe there's some cannibalism involved.
I tried to watch it last year. I rented it off Amazon, and every time I would go to play it, there was like some error.
Yeah.
So I just never watched it.
I think with her character, wasn't she like a vegetarian or vegan, and then she eats the raw meat?
She may have been.
She's in like some kind of like med school too, or something, right?
Or some kind of hazing where she has to eat the raw meat or something.
Yeah.
It starts.
That's good. Not
spiral.
57, Peeping Tom from 1960.
I have not seen this one yet. I need to. Criterion just put it out. It's supposed to be like a big influence on or an early influence on slashers and Psycho and that kind of thing. So it's on my list.
The year Psycho was released, another film about a deranged killer who liked to watch his victims.
Yeah, this one's another one that's that Marty likes to talk about.
Okay. 56, The Fly from 1986.
Another one of those sequels or remakes that's like held up as like a perfect remake and a perfect kind of movie on its own.
Yeah.
Cronenberg, Goldblum, The Fly, love it.
55, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, 1920.
If you've listened to this podcast long enough during spooky season, you've heard me talk about this at least a couple times. Just it's an all-timer classic there.
Maybe we can do a top 15 list of the 1920s that you do by yourself.
Yeah. I could probably get out 15 from the 20s.
Oh, geez. 54, Let the Right One In, 2008. You said that's available on Prime now, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't think I've watched that one.
I've seen the new one. Yeah, the American version.
Let Me In.
It was okay, but I haven't seen this one.
Yeah, this one's good. It's got kind of like that slow-ish Norwegian kind of vibe and all that.
Yeah.
Got the right. It had a subtitle issues, but Amazon's got the right one, so you're good. Check that out.
53, Eraserhead, 1977.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
I watched this at a get together, but I was completely drunk at the end of the night, and
could give a shit.
That's probably that might be the way to watch it.
Yeah.
David Lynch is like his first movie. It's sort of like a cult classic.
Yeah. Lucas made me watch this years ago.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I don't remember anything about it. I need to rewatch it. 52, Blood and Black Lace, 1964.
Haven't seen this one. It's supposed to be kind of influential with the Giallos and that stuff.
51, Irreversible, 2002. I don't think I've ever heard of this one.
It's the one with Monica Bellucci.
Oh,
where like this something happens. I forget I forget exactly, something violent happens, but like the movie is it's like events happen backwards, and that's kind of what it's known for.
Does she get naked in it?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
It's worth a watch.
At least I think so. I could be wrong, but I believe so.
What kind of question is that? Like Monica Bellucci gets naked in like 90% of her movies. Okay. 50.
Oni Baba.
Yeah. 1964.
That's a good one.
Mask.
It's like these Japanese peasants, I believe, or whatever. They're like killing wandering Ronin and taking their stuff to sell and all that. It's pretty good. Kind of a ghost story there.
49, The Witch, 2015, garbage.
The Witch. That's a good one.
Black Phillip.
I really, honestly, I need to rewatch it. I own it. I haven't.
Says it's a good one. That movie sucked.
I don't think I've seen clips. I don't think I've watched it. I don't
It
think.
sucked. It was boring.
Black Phillip's gonna steal your soul.
48, The Birds. Now we're talking. This is a good flick right here.
Hitchcock, The Birds, you know.
I almost rewatched this the other night, and for some reason I didn't. I think I was still kind of tuned in on the 90s.
Mhm. I don't love The Birds all that much. It's good. It's a good Hitchcock, but it's not like one of my top Hitchcocks.
Yeah, I think it's a good movie. 47, Godzilla, 1954. What'd you think about that, Rob?
I don't think I've seen
Godzilla.
the 40 ones. I have to watch them. That's fantastic.
You've never seen the original Godzilla?
I've seen the original, but I don't
That's
think it's-
54.
Is it 54? Oh, okay, I've seen that one then.
Is that the original?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, good stuff.
46, The Thing.
Only number 46 for
Right.
the thing.
That's a top 10 for sure.
My opinion.
Like
yeah.
here we go. If, you know what, 30 spot difference between the Thing and Elm Street and Suspiria.
45, The Invisible Man, 1933.
It's another Universal classic there, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, that one might not be the Universal one, but just, you know, it's Invisible Man.
44, Manhunter, 1986.
You know, I love me some Manhunter. Like you were talking about earlier, is it a horror movie? Maybe, maybe not. Is it influential? Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. I'd put it high, but I don't know if I'd put it on my 100
That
horror movies list.
that poor blind girl in this movie. It's
I like
the only thing I think about when I talk about this movie.
with the remake with Red Dragon. I do like. Was it Ralph Fiennes? Is that how it's pronounced? It. Yeah, I
Rafe.
think he did
I
fantastic.
saw where they put some of was it Red Dragon on like Netflix and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think they're out there.
Red Dragon. The difference is Red Dragon it sticks to the book more than Manhunter, but it's just a very sort of like by the numbers made movie.
All right, 43, Vampire, 1932.
Classic vampire. Carl Theodore Dreyer. Love it.
42, 28 Days Later, 2002.
I love it.
Well deserved. But 42, really? I don't
There
know.
might be 40, but I think it's okay in the 40s.
41, The Devils, 1971.
Never seen this one. It's hard to find because there's a lot of graphic things in it from Ken
Okay.
Russell.
40, Bride of Frankenstein. I'll be honest, I haven't seen this all the way through, just parts here and there.
Yeah, it's one of the cornerstones of horror. Everybody should watch this one if you get the chance.
I mean, look at that iconic Frankenstein. In it. It's great. 39.
Qui Dan.
Okay.
That's another. That's a.
Have you seen that?
Yep.
Oh wow.
That's a Criterion, but I own that one. That's another anthology of stories. Really good.
It's a criteria, buddy. I own that one.
Yep.
38, Freaks, 1932. Oh look.
I think I've seen clips. I don't think I've ever seen the
Classic
movie.
Todd Browning. You know, like the cute girl in the flying trapeze screws over the kind-hearted. What's the word? Dwarf midget. I don't know what the preferred word is. That she screws him over, and then all the freaks kind of turn on her.
Okay.
That's one that was kind of hard to find for a while because it was banned because it was so ghoulish in its way.
37, Deep Red, 1975.
Deep Red, Dario Argento again.
Oh man.
I actually prefer Deep Red over Suspiria, even though I like them both. But if I was going to pick like the better movie, I think it's Deep Red. So I'm okay with that being up there. It's a good one. That's another one. It's kind of like slashery. It's a giallo. So it's love to get that one out one of these days here soon too.
All right, moving along here. 36, Hereditary, 2018. I figured that would be kind of in the 40 to.
Yeah,
I think
mind
it
the
should
better
make
ones.
the list at least, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that high though.
Better than some of those ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
35, The Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956. Never seen this one.
The original. It's good.
Yeah.
They're coming to get you.
34, Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn, 1987. Great movie.
Fantastic.
I fucking love the Evil Dead series.
Yeah.
It's so great. They're fun. They're fun movies. And for this, you know, it's pretty much a remake of Evil Dead 1, except they inject humor into it this time.
Yeah.
But it still pays off. It's a great movie.
Still fun. Good one.
33, M, 1931.
Fritz Lang's M. Peter Lorre's a serial killer of children.
We need to make you a shirt that just says Film Bro.
Oh, yeah.
Black and white.
Or should it be Cinema Bro?
Cinema. Yes, I like Cinema. Bro.
Cinema
Yeah.
Bro would be great.
That's a good one. Also worth checking out.
32, The Night of the Hunter, 1955.
Another good one. Maybe not quite what I'd put under a horror movie, but yeah.
Okay.
Robert Mitchum's a preacher, and he comes after these kids because their mom's husband goes to jail after stealing some money, and Robert Mitchum's doesn't really care about him. He's just after the money.
Okay. 31, Ringu, 1998. I kind of want to watch this one. I haven't seen I've obviously seen the rings, but never seen the original.
I've got the Ringu box set that Arrow or one of those guys put out a few years ago. They're pretty good. I don't know if I love them or anything. I need to revisit them all.
I mean, I hear this one is genuinely scary and it's a lot better than the American version. So I don't know.
They're about the same to me.
Yeah.
They're both good. They're both worth a watch.
I'm surprised
Rob doesn't have an opinion on that one.
Yeah.
Ringu?
This is your department, dude.
I don't think I've seen Ringu. I've only seen like Ring.
Get out of here. Just
Yeah,
get
so
out.
I can't believe it, dude.
I know.
Just
I
get
have to
out.
Somebody that prides themselves on Korean cinema. Shame on you.
Fucked up.
I'm about to
But
text
I think
your wife.
he's in luck. I don't think Ring's Korean.
Is it Japanese or?
I'm not. I think it's Japanese. Could be wrong, but
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
J-horror, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But still, he should see it.
Still.
Yeah.
Still.
Asian cinema.
Same continent.
Sorry,
Rob.
Asian cinema is Rob's thing.
Same continent.
I apologize.
30, Eyes Without a Face, 1960.
I just think of the song.
I think that's where it came from. Yeah,
Really?
that's a good one. It's about like a guy trying to a surgeon trying to reconstruct his daughter's face. French movie, really good. Check that one out.
Good for him. 29, The Phantom of the Opera, 1925. This has got PBS written all over it.
Just one of the all timers there.
Phantom of the
Lon
Opera
Chaney.
is a great story, though.
Yeah,
Mhm.
good story. Good. A lot of good versions out there. That's the original. That's the
I
one
wouldn't
choice.
mind an up to date like Phantom of the Opera that's
Yeah.
like really well done. That'd be good.
It's been a while now. I mean, I think they made the musical one, and that would have been
had
like
Gerard Butler in it.
10-ish years
Yeah.
ago. So.
Mhm.
Okay, 28, The Wicker Man, 1973.
That's a good one. Police officer goes to an island. I forget what he's going to investigate. If there's been a murder or I think it's a disappearance. He's going after like a missing child, and he comes to this island, and everybody's a little weird on the island.
I don't think I've seen this. I think I've seen the remake.
I think
with Nicolas Cage.
everybody kind of knows the ending at this point, but it was
Yeah.
kind of a shock ending at the time.
Well, Nicolas Cage has spoiled that for everybody.
Yeah.
The bees.
27, Dracula, 1931.
Classic Universal horror movie right there. Dracula. I don't know if I'd put Dracula over Bride of Frankenstein or Wolfman, all that, but it was sort of the first.
26, The Innocents, 1961.
It's another one I need to rewatch. It's about I can't remember. I think this woman is like a babysitter for these kind of rich children, and they're out in this mansion, and it's kind of a ghost story. So it's pretty good.
Okay. 25, Scream, 1996. Really? Just 25?
I mean, you got a lot of good ones. You got to get fit on there. So
Right,
25
right.
is
At
not
least it's not
bad.
85.
Now I've got an issue here. Now
Yeah.
I've got a really issue. Like I really just want to find whoever made this list and punch him in the face. There's no, and what world are we putting the Blair Witch Project over?
The Thing.
Yeah, The Thing. I mean,
No.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Come on,
He's
man.
almost speechless, Rob.
We're in a parallel universe right now.
And what movie are we putting the Blair Witch Project over Hereditary too? I
Right.
mean, there's just so many movies that we just named off that are more well deserving to be ranked ahead of this movie.
I think it's overhyped, but I think it's just because when it came out, people didn't understand it was a film. They thought it was actually
We need
Life
a
footage.
Hostiles here to defend it. He's not here.
It's not that good.
the
It's not that
the
good.
sequel is god awful.
23, Dawn of the Dead. I would have had a serious problem with this if Blair Witch would have been ahead of Dawn
Yeah.
of the Dead.
Classic zombie movie. George
Yeah.
Romero. What are you gonna say?
George
See it.
Romero.
Look
Yep.
for it.
It's a great movie. 22, Carnival of Souls, 1962.
This is a good one.
I like how we both we both look at you when we see
Cine-
black and white.
This is a
Cinema
good one.
Bro,
It's
tell
like a woman like gets in a car accident with some friends, and then afterwards she like to get away from it. She moves out of her small town, and then she kind of sees this this ghoulish looking fellow kind of starts following her. Came out just before Night of the Living Dead. It was kind of an influence on George Romero, so it's definitely worth checking out. And that one's probably, I think it's public domain, so you can probably find it on YouTube.
21, Black Sunday, 1960.
I've probably seen this one at some point. Mario Bava. I think that's this is the one that I think they parody this in the new Beetlejuice movie where they do the black and white scene. I think it's supposed to be a parody of Black Sunday, but I'm not sure if I've ever seen Black Sunday all the way through.
Okay, number 20, Get Out, 2017. I'm surprised this one's as high as it is.
Yeah.
Good pick, but
Yeah.
It's a good movie, but this is like in the 70s, 80s.
I think even
range.
Jordan Peele would be like, better than The Thing? I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Right.
He wouldn't say that too. I believe that.
Number 19, The Mummy, 1932. I mean, this is like a movie made for you,
Yeah.
or a list made for you. I'm sorry.
The Mummy is probably like my least favorite of the classic Universal monsters, so I don't know how it could be like in front of every one of them.
Okay. 18, The Shining, 1980.
I mean, it's The Shining.
Probably right where
Yeah.
it needs to be.
I'd probably put it closer to the top 10, but I mean, it's The Shining. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. 17,
Diabolique.
Diabolique,
Another-
1955.
It's another good one. They remade this one in the 90s too. It's like these it's like the headmaster of a school. One's his wife and one's his mistress, and they plot to kill him.
Okay.
So that's a good one.
16, Halloween. Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is top 10 material right here.
I'm
I'm genuinely offended at this list.
Should be on
I
certain
get that the
ones.
thing that Halloween is influential, but I don't know if I'd say Halloween is better than The Thing.
15, Don't Look Now, 1973.
That's a good one. Donald Sutherland and I forget his wife in this, but they're like in Venice and they're dealing with the trauma. Their daughter drowned and all that, and it's a good one. Worth checking out.
Okay. I've never watched it. I know you haven't watched it, Rob.
No.
Number 14, Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror, 1922. What an iconic picture there.
Just another classic, another horror classic.
I imagine one day that when you're very successful and rich and you own your own house, we'll walk into your like living room and a whole wall will be dedicated to this picture right here.
I do like if like I talked about with like One for the Road. Like if I ever hit the lottery, I wouldn't tell anybody, but there would be signs.
Yeah.
And I just like I'd love to have a movie room. I see people with their movie rooms and I get kind of jealous. Hot Sauce has a nice little setup at his place. I'm just jealous.
Dude, I'm at the point now where I don't even like to watch movies at other places because my setup's just like so perfect here. The sound's perfect, and
you go somewhere else, you can't just get quite comfortable. And
I can hear all the sounds here. There's no light shining on the TV. That's another thing. I don't know how these people watch television when they have like the light of the windows open and the lights just shining on the TV and you can't see shit.
That's why I hardly don't watch like the horror movies during the day because it's
can't see shit.
No.
Yeah, I like having like a little bit of ambient light.
You need to get that basement finished, sir.
Yeah.
Or at least have a setup down there.
It will have a setup.
Get the family on it, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah. 13, Silence of the Lambs, 1991.
Another classic. Again, would I put it on a horror list exactly? I don't know. Was it influential on horror movie? Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Number 12, King Kong, 1933. It's a good movie. Is it rightfully deserving of where it is? I don't think so.
I don't think it is.
For influential movie and all that. I don't know if I'd put it on 13 of my horror movies, but it's good.
Number 11, Alien, 1979. Okay. I can dig that. That's probably right where it needs
Alien's
to be.
good.
Yeah. Number 10, Carrie, 1976.
Classic.
I don't know if it's top 10 material, but it has its rightful place in the horror genre.
Carrie, I think that's sort of one of my minimal Stephen King hidings. I'm not a big fan of the Carrie movie. I've only seen it once. I need to revisit it.
You should.
I mean, Stephen King, Brian De Palma. I should love this thing. I've only seen it once, and I just
John
kind of
Travolta
wasn't.
in it as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just wasn't kind of super into it. So
I love Carrie. I think it's one of the better older like horror movies from that era.
You and your dirty pillows.
Number 9. So how do we pronounce this?
I think it's Salo
or Salo?
I don't know. I'd say Salo.
Or the 120 Days of Sodom.
I've never seen this one. I don't know if it's exactly. I've heard of it because it's very well known. Bill Hader was in the Criterion Closet. He said this is a good date movie, joking around, and it's like these peasants.
Do they rip this guy's tongue out?
I don't know if they rip it out, but it's like the rich people take these peasants up to their mansion or whatever, and they just kind of torture them. Like there's a famous scene where they make the ladies eat number 2.
Oh,
and it's again, I don't know if it's a horror movie. It's definitely kind of disgusting.
They make the ladies eat shit, huh?
Yes, it's I don't know. It's supposed to be like this anti-fascist movie or something like that. So it's I've never seen that one, but it's definitely kind of infamous.
Number 8, Frankenstein, 1931.
Just another classic horror movie.
Okay. Number 7, Audition. See,
I wouldn't put it that high on the list.
it doesn't deserve to be that high.
I remember like in the early 2000s or whatever, like what was the station, like A&E or Bravo? They did those like 100 greatest horror movies and movie moments. And they had all those lists, and Audition was always high on it. And I just, like I said, I've only seen it once. Good. I don't know if I'd put it.
We watched it with Muzz because he was like, this movie bothers me. It bothers me. And that dude watches all kinds of like disturbing films.
Yeah. And it
But-
definitely bothers me, but I don't know if I'd say I love it. or anything.
I watched it and I was like, there's a very simple reason to, or way to avoid all this. Just don't take out newspaper ads for a wife or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't do weird shit to women.
Just stay single. Number 6, Night of the Living Dead, 1968. Great film.
I think it's hard to overstate the importance of Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
It's even for a well-known movie in its way, I think it's kind of still underrated.
The influence that it had on culture even to this day
Yeah.
is just uncanny. 5, Rosemary's Baby. Oh, you knew this was going to be in the top 10.
I need to revisit this one because, again, like I say, the Devil's Child stuff, it never really does anything for me. I need to rewatch that one. That's good.
Number 4, Jaws, 1975. Classic.
I mean, just that, alone is enough to scare the pants off you.
Number 3, Psycho, 1960. I was waiting for this to be,
Yeah.
I figured it would be up a little bit more, but definitely on the list.
Hitchcock classic. I mean, what do you say? It's influence on the slasher movie and everything else is just
Once again, its influence on our culture to this day.
not just a good movie, but its influence. So.
Yeah. Okay. Number 2, The Exorcist, 1973. I got no beef with that being number 2 because that
Not at
movie is still frightening
Yeah.
to me as an adult.
It's good. I don't love it as much as some horror people do, but it's good.
And the top movie, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. I don't know if that's top.
That's not one.
Personally, I think I'd have put Psycho over those two, but a lot of people love Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I need to revisit it. Some people, when Toby Hooper was still alive, he was being interviewed by William Friedkin and William Friedkin just call it art. It's okay. Nobody's gonna shit on you. It's art.
William Friedkin was just a great
He
dude.
didn't give a
wasn't he?
fuck.
Yeah. He's definitely not a person that would fit in today's world. That's for sure. Okay, this has been episode 194 of the Sleazy Podcast. Call to action, as always, share the show with your friends. From there, we'll get another person to listen, and from there, we'll get another person to listen or watch. Make sure you're following us on social media. Make sure you're subscribed on the YouTube channel and you're liking the videos and sharing them, obviously.
Give us a comment.
Yeah, definitely.
You want to know your favorite 90s horror movies? What do you think about the variety
Did
list?
we leave something out that pissed you off? Did we highly offend you as much as Variety offended me with this
Do you
list?
just hate Robzilla's face?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Feedback, please.
But yeah, definitely. We are more than open for some interaction here. So tell us what you think and if you agree or disagree with our list. And from there, we'll work it out, We'll be civilized and have a conversation about it. So we'll be back on the 25th of October for our 5th annual horror movie trivia challenge. And Monster Popcorn from Dead Ringers Podcast will be back to defend his title. And I'm guessing it's going to be a showdown again between you two.
Yep.
I was trying to get maybe another person to kind of come in, but I haven't done that yet. So I don't think it'll happen. You know how it is. People get intimidated, when they have to deal with the great PBS.
Suck it up.
So, but as always, keep it sleazy.
Thanks for listening to the Sleazy Podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and remember, listen to Sleazy.